Hello everyone, myself Vishnu Picharian, Assistant Professor at Suresh Khan Vihar University. Today I'm going to discuss about the antiarrhythmic drugs class 2, class 3 and class 4 antiarrhythmic agents. Okay, so we have done with the class 1 antiarrhythmic agents and we have seen the class 1 subdivision. Okay, so the class 1A, class 1 class 1B, class 1C. So we have done till here. So in today's class, we will discuss the class 2, class 3 and class 4 antiarrhythmic agents. Learning objectives of this topic is this lesson will help the students to understand the mechanism of action and the uses of antiarrhythmic agents, mainly the amiodarone and the sotalolone. Learning outcomes. After this lesson, students will be able to describe the SCR mechanism of action and the uses of antiarrhythmic agents such as amiodarone and the sotalolone. So we have already done the introduction part of this antiarrhythmic agents, but before going to this amiodarone and the sotalolone, we have to discuss some sorry, some important points of these antiarrhythmic agents. Before moving to this topic, we have to know what is arrhythmias. So arrhythmias means irregular heartbeat or abnormal heartbeat. Okay, arrhythmias are caused by a disruption in the heart's electrical system. Okay, disturbance in the electrical system is due to the arrhythmia. Okay, arrhythmia is caused by the disturbance in the heart's electrical system, or in easy way we can say arrhythmias are all known as abnormal heartbeat. Okay, that may be increases, that may be decreases. Okay, the increases heartbeat and the decreases heartbeat, that both are coming under in this arrhythmias category. Okay, so arrhythmias means abnormal heartbeat is known as arrhythmias. Antiarrhythmic drug. Okay, so here we are studying about the antiarrhythmic drugs. So antiarrhythmic drugs are those drugs that treat the or regular the heartbeat. Okay, antiarrhythmics drugs, they will regulate our heartbeat, regulate the irregular heartbeat. Okay, so those drugs are known as antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, so arrhythmias means abnormal heartbeat. Antiarrhythmic drugs means those treat the or regular the irregular heartbeat. Okay, so antiarrhythmics sorry, antiarrhythmics slow down the electrical impulses. Okay, what the antiarrhythmics do, antiarrhythmic agents, they will slow down the electrical impulses in the heart, so it can beat regularly again. Okay, so that is the thing this antiarrhythmic drugs do. And this antiarrhythmics can also help other symptoms of arrhythmias. Okay, some other symptoms are there for that is related to the arrhythmias: heart palpitation, light headache's, fainting, chest pain, and the shortness of the breath. Okay, so these all the these symptoms that are associated with the arrhythmias. Okay, and these symptoms also treated by antiarrhythmic drugs. So antiarrhythmic drugs are those drugs, or antiarrhythmic drugs are used to prevent or treat disorder of the cardiac rhythm. Okay, disorder of the cardiac rhythm. Okay, for treating or for preventing the disorder of the cardiac rhythm, antiarrhythmic drugs are used. And the cardiac arrhythmias are abnormalities in the rate, regularity, or the site of the origin of the cardiac impulse, or a disturbance in the conduction of the impulse. Okay, so cardiac arrhythmias are abnormalities in the heartbeat rate. Okay, heartbeat regularity. Okay, or site of the origin of the cardiac impulse, or disturbance in the conduction of the impulse. So these all are known as cardiac arrhythmias. Okay, cardiac arrhythmias mainly they are abnormalities in the heartbeat rate, heartbeat regularity, and the site of the origin of the cardiac impulse, or a disturbance in the conduction of the impulse. So these all are coming under in the category of cardiac arrhythmias. Okay, and the arrhythmia arises due to various reasons. Okay, some reasons are there. For that reason is responsible for this arrhythmia. Okay, so first reason is disturbance in the generation or conduction of electrical impulse. Okay, disturbance in the generation or the conduction of the electrical impulse. If there is any disturbance in the generation or the conduction of the electrical impulse, at that time also arrhythmia can arise. Okay, disturbance in the generation or conduction of the electrical impulse. Okay, at that time, okay, this due to this reason, this arrhythmia can be arise. Second reason is in some diseased state like myocardial ischemia, heart disease like hypertension. Okay, some this arrhythmia can occur due to some diseases like hypertension, or we can say this ischemia. Okay, due to the ischemia or hypertension, due to heart disease like hypertension, at that time also there are chances to this arrhythmia occurs. Okay, so these are two reasons. Okay, these are two reasons that this arrhythmia can arise. Okay, so first one is disturbance in the origin or generation or the conduction of the electrical impulse, and in some diseased states such as ischemia and the hypertension. Okay, when any patient suffering from ischemia or or with hypertension, and that patient this arrhythmia can arise. Okay, so the antiarrhythmic drugs are agents which helps to regulate the irregular heartbeat. Okay, that is the thing I have early mentioned. The antiarrhythmic drugs are those drugs that regulate irregular heartbeat and slow down the heart. Okay, when the heartbeat increases, our heart will be excited. Okay, so that excited heart is reduced. Okay, that excited heart is settled down with the help of these antiarrhythmic agents, and these drugs affects electrically impulse conduction through the heart and the excitability of the heart. Okay, electrical impulse in the heart is affected by these drugs. Okay, so that heart and the electricity of the heart is regularized with the help of these antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, so we have this is all about the arrhythmias and the antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, so we have done with arrhythmia. Arrhythmia means irregular cardiac rhythm. Okay, or we can say irregular heartbeat. Irregular heartbeat or abnormal heartbeat is known as arrhythmias, and antiarrhythmic drugs are those drugs that treat the or that regular the irregular heartbeat. Okay, and this arrhythmias are caused due to some reasons. That is, first reason is disturbance in the generation and the conduction of the impulse. Okay, disturbance in the and conduction of the impulse. So, and second reason is due to some disease like ischemia and the hypertension. If any patient is suffering from ischemia and the hypertension, in that patient arrhythmia can be arise. Okay, so this is all about the arrhythmia and the antiarrhythmia. We have already seen the classification of antiarrhythmic drug. Okay, let me to explain once again. So antiarrhythmic agents are classified into four category: class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, class 4 till class 4. So this class 1 that is membrane stabilizing sorry, class 1 antiarrhythmic drugs are known as membrane stabilizing agent or sodium channel blockers. Okay, so we have done all the drug that is coming under in the category of membrane stabilizing agent and sodium channel blockers. Okay, we have seen quinidine, we have seen procainamide, we had seen diisopyramide, and phenytoin. Okay, and this lora lidocaine, tokenide. Okay, so these all drug we have seen, but I will explain once again this classification. Okay, so the class 1 antiarrhythmic drug is known as membrane stabilizing agent. Okay, membrane stabilizing agent, or we can say sodium channel blockers. Okay, so class 1 is, or the membrane stabilizing agent are further classified as class 1A, class 1B, class 1C. Okay, three sub classification is there for this class 1 or the membrane stabilizing agent, and this classification is based on the action potential. Okay, based on the action potential, class 1 is further classified into class 1A, class 1B, class 1C. Class 1A, that means that has prolonged action potential. Okay, the duration of this action potential is prolonged with the help of this class 1A drug. Okay, prolonged action potential is the main feature of this class 1A drug. Okay, so the class 1A means it has prolonged, or it prolongs the action potential. Okay, it prolongs or increases the duration of the action potential. Increases the duration of the action potential is only possible with the class 1A. So that is the feature of the class 1A. And the example of the class 1A is quinidine, procainamide, diisopyramide. These three drugs you have to learn the structure, mechanism of action, and the uses, because these three drugs are there in your syllabus. Okay, so class 1, the quinidine, procainamide, diisopyramide. These three drugs, what they do, they increases the duration of the action potential. Okay, increases the duration of the action potential. Class 1B. Class 1B means decreases the duration of the action potential. Okay, decreases the duration of the action potential and has a weak effect in initiation of the depolarization. So class 1B means decreases the duration of the action potential and has weak effect in the initiation of the depolarization. Examples are lidocaine, phenytoin, tocinide. Okay, lidocaine, phenytoin, and tocinide are the examples of class 1B category. Okay, and class 1C. Class 1C has no effect on action potential, neither decreases nor increases the duration of the action potential. Okay, so these are the sub classification of the class 1. Class 1A means that increases the duration of the action potential, and the examples are the quinidine, procainamide, and the diisopyramide. Class 1B, that decreases the duration of the action potential and has a weak effect in the initiation of the depolarization. Okay, and the examples are phenytoin, lidocaine, and the tocinide. And class 1C, that has no effect on the action potential, neither increases nor decreases. And this class 1C drugs have strongly effect of initiation of the depolarization. Okay, this has a strongly effect on initiation of the depolarization. The examples are lorcainide and the encainide. So in your syllabus only the lorcainide is there to study for study, and this class 1, in the class 1B, lidocaine, phenytoin, and the tocinide. These three drugs are there in your syllabus. So you have to learn the structure, mechanism of action, uses of this lidocaine, phenytoin, the tocinide. Okay, and this next in today's class we are going to discuss about the class 2 antiarrhythmic drugs, and class 3 and class 4 antiarrhythmic drugs. So the class 2 antiarrhythmic drugs is also known as beta adrenergic blocking agent. Okay, beta adrenergic blocking agent. Class 2 drugs are also known as beta adrenergic blocking agent. That means that blocks the beta adrenergic receptor. Okay, so the examples are propranolol, sotanolol, and the atenolol. Only the sotanolol is there to study in our syllabus. So class 3 drugs, repolarization prolongators, or we can say potassium channel blockers. Okay, class 3 drugs are also known as repolarization prolongators, or we can say potassium channel blockers, and the examples are amiodarone. Okay, amiodarones are the example, and this fourth example, okay, or the classification 4 is also known as calcium channel blockers. The examples are verapamil, diltiazem. So this verapamil, diltiazem we have seen in the calcium channel blockers in the second unit. Okay, so here we are not going to discuss about this calcium channel blockers, because and this verapamil and the diltiazem, these two drugs are not there in the antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, but this verapamil and the diltiazem are given in the calcium channel blocker unit number 2. So you have to learn these two structure and the uses of this verapamil and the diltiazem. Okay, so today we are going to see the class 2 and the class 3 drug. Okay, class 2 is known as beta adrenergic blocking agent. In that sorry, in this class 2 drug only the sotanolol drug is there. Okay, and in the class 3 drug that is known as potassium channel blockers, or we can say repolarization prolongators, and examples are amiodarone. Okay, amiodarone is the example of the class 3 antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, so let's see first amiodarone. Okay, repolarization prolongators, or we can say potassium channel blockers. So class 2, this is class 3. Class 3 antiarrhythmic drugs is known as repolarization prolongators. Okay, repolarization prolongators, or we can say potassium channel blockers. Members of this class prolong ventricular repolarization. Prolongers, that obviously prolongs the repolarization. Okay, and increase the effective refractory period, or we can say resting period. Okay, so this class 3 antiarrhythmic drugs that prolongs the ventricular repolarization. Okay, ventricular repolarization is prolonged by these potassium channel blockers or the repolarization prolongators, and these have increased effect in the increases the effective refractory period. Increases the effective refractory period. Refractory period means resting period. Resting period is increased with the help of these repolarization prolongators. Okay, so class 3 drug that is known as repolarization prolongators or potassium channel blockers, and these potassium channel blockers prolong the ventricular repolarization. Prolong the ventricular repolarization, increases the effective refractory period, or we can say increases the resting period. Okay, let's see the structure of this amiodarone. So this is the structure of the amiodarone. Okay, so three rings are present in the amiodarone. Okay, and CH2 three times. Okay, CH2 three times. Okay, so butane is attached with this 5-membered, or we can say furan. Okay, butane is attached to this furan, and this is carbon double bond O, and this is again connected with one benzene ring, iodine O, CH2 ethane amine to two molecule of C2H5. Okay, C2H5. Okay, so this is the structure of the amiodarone. Okay. Next, amiodarone is a class 3 antiarrhythmic indicated for the treatment of the recurrent hemodynamically unstable ventricular tachycardia and recurrent ventricular fibrillation. Okay, so this amiodarone is a class of class 3 antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, so we have seen the repolarization prolongators, or we can say potassium channel blockers. Okay, so this amiodarone is an example of the class 3 antiarrhythmic drugs, and that is used for treatment of recurrent hemodynamically unstable ventricular tachycardia. Okay, in the treatment of ventricular tachycardia and recurrent ventricular fibrillation. Okay, so this amiodarone is used in the treatment of recurrent ventricular tachycardia and recurrent ventricular fibrillation. Okay, so this is the main purpose of using this amiodarone. Let's see the mechanism of action. Amiodarone is considered a class 3 antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, class 3 and antiarrhythmic drugs example is amiodarone, and it blocks potassium currents. Okay, so its name is the class 3 antiarrhythmic drug is known as potassium channel blockers. Okay, so this obviously blocks the potassium. Okay, so this amiodarone blocks the potassium that causes the repolarization of the heart muscle. Okay, this potassium is responsible for the repolarization of the heart muscle during the third phase of the cardiac action potential. Okay, in the third phase of the cardiac action potential, the potassium's duty is to repolarize. Okay, repolarization of the heart muscle at the phase of 3 in the cardiac action potential. As a result, amiodarone increases the duration of the action potential as well as effective refractory period of the cardiac cells. What this amiodarone do? Amiodarone that blocks the potassium channel. Okay, that blocks the potassium channel. When the potassium channel is blocked, the Okay, what happened? That increases the duration of the action potential. Okay, that increases the duration of the action potential, and also increases the refractory period of the for the cardiac cells. Means the resting period for the cardiac cell is also increased with the help of this amiodarone. Okay, therefore cardiac muscle cells excitability is reduced. Okay, so the arrhythmia means increased cardiac heartbeat or decreased cardiac heartbeat. Okay, so when this heartbeat is increased, at that time excitability also produced by this cardiac muscle. So that's for settling that excitability of the cardiac muscle, we are giving the amiodarone. What this amiodarone do? Amiodarone block the potassium channel. Okay, block the potassium channel and increases the duration of the action potential. Increases the duration of the action potential at the third phase of the cardiac action, or it causes the third phase of the cardiac action potential. Okay, and this also increases the effective refractory period or the resting period for the cardiac cells. Okay, due to this action, cardiac muscle cells excitability is reduced, preventing and treating abnormal heart rhythm. Okay, so this is the way this amiodarone treats the abnormal rhythm. Unique from other members of the class 3 antiarrhythmic drug class. Okay, so amiodarone also interferes with the functioning of the beta adrenergic receptors, sodium channels, and the calcium channels. Okay, so this amiodarone also interferes. This amiodarone is coming under the category of potassium channel blocker or the repolarization prolongators. But this amiodarone also interferes with the functioning of the beta adrenergic receptors, sodium channels, and the calcium channels. Okay, so this beta adrenergic receptors, sodium channels, and the calcium channels. Okay, so these three categories of the drugs are coming under in the antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, so this amiodarone also interfere. Okay, this amiodarone normally blocks the potassium channel, but this also interferes with the beta adrenergic receptors, sodium channels, and the calcium channels. This action at time can lead to undesirable effect such as hypotension, bradycardia, and the torsades. Okay, torsades, D points. Okay, so when this amiodarone interferes with all these channels, because this all channel is responsible for the controlling of the heart rate. Okay, when this amiodarone, okay, amiodarone already blocks the potassium channel, but it's also interfere. Okay, when this amiodarone interface with this all the things, so undesirable effect will become. Okay, so that is hypotension may be caused, bradycardia may be caused, and the torsades points may be caused. In addition to the above, amiodarone may increases activity of peroxisome profilator activated receptor. Okay, so this amiodarone also increases the activity of peroxisome proliferator activated receptors, leading to the steatogenic changes in the liver and the other organs. Okay, so finally amiodarone has been found to bind to the thyroid receptor due to its iodine content. Okay, we have seen the amiodarone structure. There are two molecule of iodines are present. Okay, so this amiodarone also found to be bind with the thyroid receptor. Okay, because in this amiodarone there are two molecule of the iodines are present in the structure. So this have to be found that bind to the thyroid receptor, that potentially leading to the amiodarone induced hypothyroidism or thyrotoxicosis. So what is the side effect of this amiodarone? That cause the hypothyroidism or thyrotoxicosis. Due to the presence of the iodine, this amiodarone tends to bind with the thyroid receptor. Okay, when this bind with the thyroid receptor, what happens? That induce the hypothyroidism or the thyrotoxicosis. So this amiodarone is coming under the category of potassium channel blocker. So this amiodarone blocks the potassium channel, as well as we have seen in the mechanism of action, this amiodarone have the capacity to interfere with the sodium channels and at beta adrenergic receptors and the calcium channel blockers. Okay, when this amiodarone binds with this sodium channel, sodium channel, calcium channel, and the beta adrenergic receptor, what happens? The hypotension happens or the bradycardia happens. These are the undesirable effect of this amiodarone. Okay, and this amiodarone also have the capacity to bind with the thyroid receptor due to its iodine content. Okay, in this amiodarone we have seen 2 molecules of the iodines are present. Due to that reason, this amiodarone has the capacity to bind with the thyroid receptor, that leads to hypothyroidism or thyrotoxicosis. Okay, so these all are this hypothyroidism and the thyrotoxicosis are again undesirable effect of this amiodarone. So what is amiodarone do? Amiodarone is considered class 3 antiarrhythmic drug, or we can say this amiodarone is coming under the category of potassium channel blockers or repolarization prolongators. Okay, it blocks the potassium channels, and that potassium channel is responsible for the repolarization, that causes the repolarization of the heart muscle during the third phase of the cardiac potential. Okay, during the third phase of the cardiac potential, that this potassiums are responsible for repolarization of the heart muscle at the third phase of the cardiac action potential. Okay, so this amiodarone blocks the potassium and increases the duration of the action potential. Okay, when this potassium blocked by this amiodarone, what happens there? That increases the duration of the action potential at the third phase of the cardiac potential. Okay, and it also increases the effective refractory period for the cardiac cells. Effective refractory period, that is ERP, and ERP is also known as resting period for the cardiac cells. Okay, resting. So this amiodarone blocks the potassium channels at the phase of the third of this cardiac action potential and increases the duration of the action potential, and also increases the effective refractory period, or we can say resting period for the cardiac cells. Okay, when this resting period is increased, what happened there? The excitability is reduced, or this cause the regular, or these drugs can regular the irregular heartbeat. Okay, so this is the main mechanism of action. This is the action we want in the antiarrhythmic agent. But this amiodarone also interferes with the sodium channels, beta adrenergic receptors, and the calcium channel. When this amiodarone interferes with these channels, what happens? Undesirable effects will become. Okay, that may be that is hypotension and bradycardia. These all are undesirable effects. These effects we don't want in the antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, treatment. And next, another side effect is also there. That is, amiodarone tends to bind with the iodine receptor. Okay, or thyroid receptor, tends to bind with the thyroid receptor because of the iodine content present in the structure of this amiodarone. 2 molecules of the iodines are present in the structure of the amiodarone, and that causes the hypothyroidism or thyrotoxicosis. Okay, again these two effects are undesirable. Okay, so these are the undesirable effect of the amiodarone. Okay, let's see uses of this amiodarone. So amiodarone is used in the treatment of ventricular or supraventricular arrhythmia. Okay, ventricular and the supraventricular arrhythmia is treated with the help of this amiodarone, and it also has the vasodilation property. Okay, so this FDA approved indication for the amiodarone, because amiodarone also shows some undesirable effect also. So the FDA approved indication for the amiodarone are recurrent ventricular fibrillation and recurrent unstable ventricular tachycardia. Okay, so this FDA approved uses of this amiodarone is recurrent ventricular fibrillation and recurrent ventricular tachycardia. The FDA emphasizes that this drug should only be given in these conditions when they are clinically documented and have not responded to normal therapeutic doses of other antiarrhythmic agents, or when other drugs are not tolerated by the patient. Okay, so this FDA emphasizes that, or FDA says that the drug, this amiodarone, is only given to the patient. Okay, even only given to the patient that those are not responded to normal therapeutic doses of antiarrhythmic agents, because this amiodarone have lots of side effects. Okay, this produce lots of undesirable effect. Due to that reason, this FDA emphasizes that this amiodarone is only given in these condition, means that is on first is clinically, that should be clinically documented, and second is in those patients, those they are not responded to normal therapeutic doses of other antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, when they are not treated with other antiarrhythmic drugs, at that time only this amiodarone is given to the patient. And the third condition is when other drugs are not tolerated by the patient. Okay, if any patient have any allergic reaction with other antiarrhythmic drugs, and that time also this amiodarone is given to the patient, because this amiodarone produces the hypothyroidism or thyrotoxicosis. Okay, because this amiodarone binds with the thyroid receptor due to the iodine content. Okay, so that is the first undesirable effect. Second is this amiodarone also interfere with the sodium channel, calcium channel, and the beta adrenergic receptors. Okay, so when this interfere with these channels or with these receptors, what happens? Again, this produces the undesirable effect. Due to that reason, FDA emphasizes these drug, or this amiodarone is only given to that patient that they are not tolerated by other drugs, or they are not treated, or they are not responded to normal therapeutic doses of other antiarrhythmic drugs agents. In that patient only this amiodarone is given or administered. Okay, and this FDA approved indication of this amiodarones are recurrent ventricular fibrillation and the recurrent unstable ventricular tachycardia. Okay, so this is all about amiodarone. This class 2 drug is beta adrenergic blocking agent. Okay, so in the class 3 drug, that is repolarization prolongator, or we can say potassium channel blockers, in our syllabus only the amiodarone is there. Okay, amiodarone have the iodine content, 2 molecule of the iodine content. Due to that reason, that produces the hypothyroidism. This is the main important questions maybe come in the exams. Okay, so next classification of this antiarrhythmic drugs is class 2 beta adrenergic receptor. Okay, class 2 beta adrenergic receptor, beta adrenergic blocking agents. Class 2 means we can say beta adrenergic blocking agents. So in this one only the one drug is there in your syllabus, sotalolol. Sotalolol. So the structure is, look at the structure: benzene ring, CH2. Okay, ethanol, we can say ethanol is there, that is attached to this benzene ring, and that ethanol is connected with amine group. Okay, amine group, and this amine group is connected with the propane. Okay, a benzene ring, main ring structure is benzene ring, ethanol, amine, and propane. Look at this point. The benzene ring is again connected with NH, S double bond O, S double bond O, CS3. So sotalol, alcoholic group is there, OH. Okay, so sotalol is, the structure of the sotalol is this. Okay, main ring structure is benzene, ethanol, amine, propane. Okay, NH, S double bond O, S double bond O, CS3. Okay, so this is the structure of the sotalol. Sotalol is the beta blocker that affect the heart and the circulation within the atrium and the ventricles. Okay, upper and the lower chamber of the heart that allow blood to flow into and out of the heart, atrium and the ventricles. So the sotalol is the beta blockers that affect the heart and the circulation. Okay, sotalol is the beta blockers that affect the heart and the circulation within the atrium and the ventricles. Atrium and the ventricles are upper and the lower chambers of the heart. Okay, atrium and the ventricles are upper and the lower chambers of the heart that allow blood to flow into and out of the heart. Okay, that allow blood flow into and out of the heart. Sotalol is used to help keep the heart beating normally in people with certain heart rhythm disorders. Okay, so this sotalol is coming under the category of antiarrhythmic drug. So antiarrhythmic drugs are those drugs that regulate the irregular heartbeat. Okay, so the sotalol is used to help keep the heart beating normally in the people with certain heart rhythm disorders. Okay, such as atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter, ventricular tachycardia, and the ventricular fibrillation. Okay, so this sotalol is used to help keep the heart beating normally in people with certain heart rhythm disorders such as atrial fibrillation, atrial flutter, ventricular tachycardia, ventricular fibrillation. Okay, so let's see the mechanism of action. This sotalol, what they do? Sotalol inhibit the beta-1 adrenoreceptors in the myocardium. Okay, this sotalol inhibit the beta adrenoreceptors in the myocardium as well as rapid potassium channels to slow the repolarization. Okay, to slow the repolarization, lengthen the QT interval, and slow and shorten the conduction of the action potentials through the atria. So the sotalol inhibit beta-1 adrenoreceptor in the myocardium as well as the rapid potassium channels to slow the repolarization, lengthen the QT interval, and slow and shorten the conduction of the action potential through the atria. Okay, so this is the mechanism of action of this sotalol. Next, uses of the sotalol is used to treat irregular heartbeat. Okay, so sotalol is used to treat irregular heartbeats. Sotalol is in class of the medication called antiarrhythmics. Sotalol is in the class of the medication that is known as antiarrhythmic drugs. It works by acting on the heart muscle to improve the heart rhythms. Okay, so it works by acting on the heart muscle to improve the heart rhythm. So this is used to treat the irregular heartbeat. Okay, and this is also in the class of the medication called antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, so this is all about the sotalol, and our class 4 drug is known as calcium channel blockers, that is verapamil and the diltiazem. In the antiarrhythmic drug, we don't have the verapamil and the diltiazem in our syllabus, but in the calcium channel blockers unit 2, in that the verapamil and the diltiazems are there, so you have to learn from the unit 2. Okay, so our next drug is mexilatin hydrochloride. Okay, mexilatin hydrochloride, benzene ring, 2-methyl group, OCH2CH-CH3NH2. Benzene ring, CH3 is attached, OCH2CH-CH3NH2. Okay, so this is the structure of the mexilatin, and this is also known as 2,6-dimethyl. Okay, 2,6. Okay, this is the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2,6-dimethyl phenyl ether 2-aminopropane. 3 carbon atoms are there. So 2-aminopropanol. Okay, so this is the structure. This is the name of this mexilatin. Okay, mexilatin is an aromatic ether that is known as 2,6-dimethyl phenyl ether of 2-aminopropane 1-ol. It has a role as an antiarrhythmia drug. Okay, so this mexilatin is coming under classification of antiarrhythmic drug. It is an aromatic ether and a primary amino compound. Okay, aromatic ether and the primary amino compound. Okay, so mexilatin is the aromatic ether and the primary amino compound. Let's see the mechanism of action. As a member of the class 1B, okay, so this mexilatin is coming under the category class of class 1B. Class 1B means that decreases the duration of the action potential. Okay, class 1B is decreases the duration of the action potential. Primarily mechanism of action is blocking fast sodium channel. Okay, so it blocks the sodium channel, reduces the phase zero maximal upstroke velocity of the action potential. Okay, so this mexilatin blocks the sodium channel and decreases the duration of the action potential. It increases the ratio of effective refractory period to action potential duration. Ratio is increases. Okay, it increases the ratio of effective refractory period to action potential duration, but has less effect on conductivity. Okay, but has less effect on conductivity. So this is the mechanism of action of this mexilatin. Mexilatin blocks the sodium channel. Okay, sodium channel and reduce the duration of the action potential. It also increases the ratio of the effective refractory period to the action potential duration, but has little effect on the conductivity. And the mexilatin is coming under the category of class 1B. Okay, so class 1B means decreases the action duration of the action potential. And also this class 1B is the sub classification of sodium channel blockers or membrane stabilizing agent. Okay, so this is all about the mechanism of action of this mexilatins. Okay, let's see the uses of the mexilatin. This medication is used to treat certain types of the serious irregular heartbeat, such as persistent ventricular tachycardia. Okay, so we can say this medication is used to treat the persistent ventricular tachycardia. It is used to restore normal heart rhythm and maintain a regular steady heartbeat. Okay, so this mexilatin is used to restore normal heart rhythm and maintain a regular steady heartbeat. And mexilatin is also known as anti. So this is the, if the drug regularize the irregular heartbeat, so that is known as antiarrhythmic drug. Okay, so it regulate the irregular heartbeat. Okay, so this is all about the antiarrhythmic drugs. Okay, so we in today's class we have completed our antiarrhythmic drugs. Let's see some MCQs regarding this topic. Class 4 antiarrhythmic drug is also known as class 4. So class 4 is calcium channel blockers. Okay, so the calcium channel blockers is the another name of this class 4 antiarrhythmic drugs. Sotalol is an example of beta adrenergic blockers. Okay, beta adrenergic blocker is the correct answer. Repolarization prolongators are also known as repolarization prolongators. We can say potassium channel blocker. Okay, so the another name of repolarization prolongators are potassium channel blockers is the correct answer. Arrhythmia is the condition, decreased heartbeat, increased heartbeat, irregular heartbeat, all the above. So the correct answer is all the above. Next question, how many rings are there in the structure of the amiodarone? Amiodarone is the drug that has lots of side effect. Okay, and this amiodarone is only approved by, means this amiodarone is given to the patient, that is approved by the FDA. Okay, so FDA emphasizes that amiodarone is only given to that patient. Those are not cooperated with or those are not treated with another antiarrhythmic drug, because this amiodarone has more anti or more side effect. So that is why. So you have to remember, you have to learn the structure of the amiodarone, how many rings are present. Okay, so amiodarone has 3 rings. Okay, 3 rings are there in the structure of the amiodarone. So the correct answer is 3. So this is all about our antiarrhythmic drugs. We have done with antiarrhythmic drugs. All the class 1 drugs we have covered. Class 2 we have covered. Class 3 we have covered. Sorry, only the class 4 drugs are not in the unit 3 in the antiarrhythmic drugs in your syllabus, but these verapamil and the diltiazem are given in the calcium channel blockers, and the calcium channel blockers are there in the unit number 2. So you have to learn the structure and the mechanism of action, the uses of the verapamil and the diltiazem. Okay, so this is all about antiarrhythmic drugs. So thank you. I hope everybody understood it very well. Thank you.